This is Channels Television's breaking news.
Well, it's been a while since we've done a news show, and so we're here with some more news. The state of Tennessee has become the first state in 2023 to restrict drag performances. Governor Bill Lee signed a bill into law Thursday afternoon that would restrict public drag show performances in Tennessee, making the first state to do so. The Senate passed the bill earlier Thursday, along party lines, to limit adult cabaret performances on public property, so as to shield them from the view of children, threatening violators with misdemeanors and repeat offenders with a felony. The bill defines an adult cabaret performance as performance that features topless dancers, go-go dancers, exotic dancers, strippers, male or female impersonators who provide entertainment that appeals to a prurient interest or similar entertainers. The law goes into effect July 1st. The Tennessee measures is the first of nearly a dozen such bills presently working their way through GOP-led state legislatures. Republicans say the performances expose children to sexual themes and imagery that are inappropriate, a claim rejected by advocates. Advocates say these measures are discriminatory and they violate the First Amendment. As transgender issues and drag culture are increasingly becoming more mainstream, such shows will often feature men dressing as women in exaggerated makeup while singing or entertaining a crowd. Though some shows feature bawdier content. Now, my thoughts on this. We all know I don't really care much for pride parades and drag shows. I don't get it. I don't understand them. I don't know why men want to dress as females. I don't get it. I don't get these drag shows one bit. But with that being said, I don't think that the governments need to ban these shows or restrict them. There is the First Amendment of the Constitution. It protects free speech, peaceful assembly, and freedom of expression. If you're doing a drag show on public property, then you are doing peaceful assembly. Now, what's not protected by the First Amendment is obscenity. And obscenity is a category of speech that is not protected by the First Amendment. Obscenity laws are concerned with prohibiting lewd, filthy, or disgusting words or pictures. Indecent materials or depictions, normally speech or artistic expressions, may be restricted in terms of time, place, manner, are still protected by the First Amendment. All 50 states have individual laws controlling these obscene materials. Obscenity has been difficult to establish, yet key components of the current obscenity test system come from the Court of Appeals decision, United States versus Ulysses. There's also Miller versus California, which came out with the Miller test for obscenity. And it's up to the plaintiff or the prosecution to prove, test number one, whether the average person applying contemporary community standards would find out the work taken as a whole appeals to prurient interest. 2. Whether the work depicts in a patently offensive way sexual conduct specifically defined by the applicable state law, where the work taken as a whole lacks serious literacy, artistic, political, or scientific value. So that's the Miller test in Miller v. California. But going back to these drag show performances, I do believe that there's somewhat an artistic and political value to these shows, and therefore that Miller test would be disproved. So in my opinion, these drag shows, I think that they are protected by the First Amendment. They should be. If I don't like them, doesn't mean they have to be banned. I might not care much for transgenders or drag people. We should not be attacking them or being discriminatory. Instead, we should allow these shows to happen and kind of spread awareness of the injustices. So Governor Bill Lee, I don't think he's taking the right approach to this. I think he's doing this law out of spite, out of revenge, because a picture of him leaked of him dressing as a woman. So now he wants to silence the critics. There's going to be a lot of legal questions. Are these drag shows really harmful to children? And you're not going to get a unanimous answer. Some children like drag shows. What is deemed inappropriate for children? Every child is a human, and they all have their own taste and distaste. When I was a kid in middle school, we talked about sex and profanity all the time. That wasn't offensive to us. It might be offensive to others. What does the state law say about obscenity? Every state law is different on that. So obscenity, what's offensive, what's not, subjective. That's an opinion, and opinions are protected by the First Amendment. These shows don't focus on the sexual stuff. They focus more on education, artistic values, and the political scope of things. Then I think these shows should be allowed in public property. Maybe there's some loophole. I don't know. I think the Supreme Court should definitely look at this decision. Based on my legal analysis, I don't know if this law is going to stand very long, but it could. But yeah, Tennessee becomes the first state in 2023 to restrict drag performances. I'm completely against it. For one day, I will stand with the drag community. I will stand for them to defeat this law. And the other day, I'm against these shows. But maybe they've changed my tune. I don't know. But this has been your CC Nation news for March the 5th. See you more for some other news.